We have been witnessing some very substantial moves around crypto ever since the beginning of the election. And I did mention this, right? If we go all the way back to November 5th, from that point on, we have been seeing a major shift in the entire market. Some players from the space, like Brad Garlinghouse, are coining this the Trump effect. And I do think that we are just witnessing the beginning of that. I do think that we are going to see much larger moves going into, the later months of this year. But, we're still very young. We're still very early on into 2025. It is January 8th right now. So we have a lot more to really kind of focus on. Now, as we do really kind of prepare for that, we are also witnessing some very substantial moves being made right now in the US for Ripple and for XRP and those that are actually holding XRP as well. So with that being said, welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. So let's dive on in and let's talk about a few things because, again, like I said, there's a lot to talk about. We are still chopping in the overall market. Nothing really changing on that front. We're just kind of waiting for some sort of price action to form. Last 7 days, there have been some very nice gains across the board, but for the most part, a lot of these are just major bounces off of the lows. We're still waiting for some positive price action to truly form on the 24-hour span. For most of the markets, we want to see some breakouts across the board, especially when it comes to Bitcoin, Ethereum, and even XRP. But until then, the market is probably going to be a bit boring. Let's just be honest. But outside of this, Brad Garlinghouse, he has been talking about Trump for a bit of time. If we go all the way back to November 6th, when he did congratulate, Donald Trump on winning the election, he did give some guidance on what he wants to see. Now, again, we have yet to actually see any major significant moves yet because on the 20th is when we see Trump officially take office. I do believe that from the 20th onward, we'll most likely see some very big moves being made around this space. But so far, we have been witnessing a big effect on the overall markets as we do start to kind of usher towards that January 20th date. Now, also over here, we have on November 7th, Brad Garlinghouse also shared some thoughts regarding what the Trump administration could mean for crypto and wanted to also recognize the XRP family's patience and unwavering support. And basically, he's just saying that, the SEC has always been a big blocker, right? They've been a big, player in this space to hold back price action. And I think that that's also very clear. I think that, ever since the elections, when everyone was kind of aware that, oh, well, guess what? Gary Gensler is going to be gone. All of a sudden, we see everything move significantly to the upside. I mean, almost overnight, XRP went from sub $1 to almost $3 on just the announcement of, Donald Trump winning the presidency, because that's when everyone started to speculate, well, guess what? All of a sudden, Gary Gensler's gone. Gary Gensler's going to be gone. And we now have confirmation of that, obviously, on January 20th. So there's still a lot to look forward to, but, the SEC is about to be gone. When I say that, I mean this anti-SEC is going to be gone. This anti-crypto SEC is going to be gone. The whole push back against XRP and, against Ripple, that's going to fade away. And what's going to take its place is a pro-crypto SEC that is going to allow for companies like Ripple to, push forward on utilizing technology like the XRP ledger and even XRP in the US. The US adoption of Ripple and even XRP, in my opinion, is going to start from that point on. We have over here, Happy New Year to XRP family and the entire crypto community. I read this before. I just want to give you guys a quick insight on the timeline here. Momentum and increased focus on real-world utility continues to build, followed by the welcoming of the pro-crypto Congress, right? The 119th Congress. This is a big one, okay? And we have Jeremy Hogan actually responding back to this saying, let's get to work. It's spot on. It's a pro-crypto legislature, but the laws won't magically write themselves. We all need to stay involved and ensure that the laws that are drafted are workable for the industry, but at the same time, weed out as much of the fraud and risk as possible. Now, on top of this, right, we got this recently, which this was a big announcement, right? almost 30,000 likes, almost 2 million views. Obviously, this got viewed by a lot of people. This blew up literally. And what we got from this was the Trump bull run, right? This was, Brad Garlinghouse acknowledging that 2025 is here and the Trump bull market is real. For Ripple, we could see, all of these big moves already happening. Okay, we have 75% of Ripple's open rolls are now US based. And they signed more US deals in the last 6 weeks of 2024 than in the last 6 months. What I find crazy about this is the positive reinforcement on these companies that we're now witnessing just because Trump is getting into office. And also, by the way, Bitwise CEO Hunter Horsley says Trump's administration may unfreeze mergers and acquisitions, which could transform the crypto industry if it happens. Now, in my opinion, the US has no choice but to start to flip bullish on crypto. I do believe that Trump is about to flip big on Ripple and XRP. And in my opinion, I believe that Trump already has. I'm sure that you guys already see it on the bottom right side of my screen. Yeah. Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple, and Stuart Alderoty, the CLO, Chief Legal Officer at Ripple, was at a dinner with Donald Trump. And this was last night. So on the 6th, this is 2 days ago. They were at a dinner with real Donald Trump. Strong start to 2025. You know what's crazy about this? For the last few months, ever since the election, what have I been saying? Ripple is more embedded into the financial system than we are aware of. Ripple is a major name. At this current moment in time, they are such a major name in this space. Again, I don't even think, and I speak for myself as well, I don't think we are bullish enough. I don't think that we know everything that's going on behind the scenes. I see a lot of people saying, oh, well, Ripple paid for this dinner. They paid for this dinner just for marketing, and they're trying to pump XRP to dump it. Like, this is the ridiculous comments that we continue to see. Guys, I have been studying, I have been researching, and I have been following Ripple for the last, I don't even know, 6 years now. Okay, 6, 7 years. And we've seen it all. We have witnessed Ripple meeting with the IMF, meeting with the BIS, joining the BIS's CPMI group, meeting with the World Bank, meeting with central bankers, announcing partnerships with some of the biggest banks, and we're supposed to sit here thinking that, oh, Ripple's trying to pay for dinners with, Donald Trump so that they could pump XRP and dump it on the retail sector. Like, how ridiculous does that sound? One of the largest blockchain-based companies in this space that has met with the global banking and financial giants of the world, organizations that are literally pulling the strings around our financial system. They're now paying for dinners with the president of the US to pump XRP. Like, think about how ridiculous that sounds. We are witnessing a major shift in this market right now. And a lot of people are now starting to talk about something very interesting, which is a strategic XRP reserve. Strategic XRP reserve has a nice ring to it. We also have over here from Anderson, Trump admin will do whatever they can to make sure a US-based crypto dominates the crypto market, along with a US-based company that's holding nearly half the supply. Let's not forget that this US-based company is named Ripple and will also expand the US dollar around the world thanks to issuing its own US dollar stablecoin, RLUSD. that company has also created and perfected their own B2B cross-border payment system that's rivaling SWIFT, which has to adhere to US sanctions, which will go hand in hand with their stablecoin. I mean, it's so obvious why Trump would favor Ripple that even making this post seems unnecessary. And yeah, this is exactly true. Listen, we don't even have to sit here and say, hey, we think that Ripple could be a big player in the US market. No, it's common sense. Ripple is a US blockchain-based company that is an absolute giant, has paved the way for well over a decade, has over 500 plus banking partnerships, has some of the biggest banks waiting on the sidelines to utilize XRP in a large way. This is a company that could care less about what you or me thinks, because they are the ones that have, for well over a decade plus, have created such a massive name for themselves that they are the only ones sitting in those private meetings with the IMF, the World Bank, the BIS. They're sitting around meeting with central banks. This is not some small, fish in the sea. No, this is a complete, massive, whale-based blockchain company. I want you guys to realize how big the Ripple name is becoming in finance. I get that retail might not be aware of Ripple, right? If you talk to Ripple or talk about Ripple outside of crypto, many people probably don't know about Ripple. But if you are based around finance, if you have been studying finance, you know the Ripple name because of how big they have become in the last decade. And we have down here that not only that, but all other G7 countries back Ripple, along with the BIS and the IMF. My head is spinning right now. And yes, this is 100% true. And we have down here, again, another individual, an XRP strategic reserve would actually make sense because XRP is so well distributed across the globe and it actually works for real life purposes. And we have, yes, it has massive utility for the real economy. And guess what? Here we have, this is the second time that Brad Garlinghouse is hinting at a USA XRP strategic reserve, SEC case resolved, plus XRP ETF, plus USA XRP strategic reserve. Big shout out to Digital Asset Investor. Check this out.
That long ago that XRP was the second most valuable digital asset. And again, that's before you had these exogenous factors that I would say were unnatural, maybe not ethical in debate, but, and I think now you're seeing that change. And I think, with a level playing field, I almost think about it as if you hold a basketball under the water long enough, eventually you let go of it and it shoots up. But why are we surprised by this? Somebody was holding it underwater, and now it's rising. So, look, I feel like it feels somewhat vindicating. I'll be honest with you. But I think we should measure these over a long arc of time. I encourage Ripple employees. Yes, we are aware that XRP has gone up in value, but we really do try to take a very long-term view about what we're building and how that contributes to an internet of value and how XRP can be a critical component of an internet of value.
Yeah, it's like trying to disconnect some of the speculation from obviously the use case and ultimately how to think about the value. But my work as an analyst, we look at flow of funds, covering stocks for 20 plus years, and when you remove a huge barrier to inflows, what happens is, and there's demand, price goes up. And so we've been obviously talking about these ETFs, and I still personally think we're in the very early innings of demand into just even the Bitcoin ETFs, let alone as people kind of go down the path into other assets. And so that's hundreds of billions of dollars, in my opinion, over the next few years. And then you talk about demand from something like a reserve, which in my opinion it would probably far surpass the demand for even the ETF. So it's an interesting just dynamic of like trying to set price on something where you essentially had a massive restriction on the ability to buy the demand side. And so price discovery is going to be interesting here for a while, I think.
Yeah. I mean, listen, if we really look at this, the entire environment around XRP is hinting at it becoming a strategic reserve asset for the US. And before you guys say this is just a ridiculous statement, think about all of the steps that got us here. XRP is just out of nowhere the only crypto-based project that is attacked the way it is from the SEC during a time in the market where the bull run is just beginning. For well over, 4 years, it's in the middle of this lawsuit. While in the lawsuit, Ripple is a company that's allowed to comment on global regulatory frameworks with the FSB back in December of 2022, while in the middle of the lawsuit, with Gary Gensler, who is the chairman of the SEC, on the board of directors at the FSB. Then we fast forward to the summer of 2023. XRP is deemed not a security, not even a full week after we get an announcement by the BIS that, hey, we're going to be working with Ripple on the CPMI group that is also instructed by the FSB with the G20 on creating a very efficient way of sending and receiving cross-border payments. And then we fast forward a little bit, more to 2024, and all of a sudden we're getting RLUSD, a completely compliant and regulated stablecoin. Again, mind you, while in the middle of a lawsuit with the SEC. And all of a sudden, by the fall timeframe, we have Ripple going absolutely crazy. They're hiring like crazy. They're expanding like crazy. The RLUSD stablecoin is launching. Now they're having a dinner with the new president. This cannot be more aligned and more planned, in my opinion. It just feels like all of this has been planned to make sure that Ripple and XRP have that foot through the door to become an absolute giant in the space to help back the US system. Because remember, a US-based company and a US-based crypto, essentially, I know that XRP is not a US-based anything because it's jurisdictionless, but we know that Ripple holds a very large amount of escrow. So it's basically US controlled. Why wouldn't the US back that? Why wouldn't Trump want to say, hey, we want to adopt Ripple. We want to utilize XRP. It just makes sense. I'm not trying to be biased here. I'm not trying to speculate or pump XRP. I'm just being 100% honest with you guys. It just makes sense from a technical perspective, from a fundamental perspective, and just from a common sense perspective. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, this has been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.